I don't know if it's soon enough to do, or like if it's been long enough to do another Zelda for the launch. I don't know if they can recreate that again with like
No.
Not if it's
Tears of the King.
not if it's a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom, but if it's
But if
Wind
it
Waker
Wind
2,
Waker 2, something that hits heartstrings, yeah, for sure. I can see that doing it.
Cool. How's it going, guys? Welcome to Amongst Friends podcast. Hope everybody's doing good. We're gonna have some cool conversations today, hopefully, and talk about some stuff. But anyway, how's it going, dudes?
it's
Barrett,
good.
Raymond,
Good man. Good. It's
you
cold.
guys like this better? Yeah, I was about to say.
Getting used to it.
Yeah, I'm happy that it's hoodie weather again. This is my time of year. I love it.
It's always hoodie weather, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah,
See, I don't like
how's-
sweating for no reason, so I'm not pulling out a hoodie unless what's it
I'm
called
like,
for.
yeah, I hear you. What y'all doing next week? Thanksgiving, if y'all believe in that kind of thing. Yeah.
I think we're going to my
Assume
parents
you-
for dinner. That's the only plans I know of.
Mhm. We're going to my parents for lunch on Thanksgiving. But usually not a huge get together for us. It's just like immediate family and then grandparents. Thank you.
Yeah, same for us. It's usually like my parents and then my brother, his wife, and my niece. That's usually all that comes to our Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time
I
we've
think-
done dinner in like a couple of years. We've been doing lunch the past few, just because like going to both sides of the family, being able to divide it up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do y'all have the traditional stuff or anything? Any weird food items? Anything? What's your favorite stuff too?
My mom, it's never traditional. We definitely don't have a traditional Thanksgiving. It's usually a chance to try fun new recipes that she's either
Okay.
come up with or discovered through, at this point, TikTok. TikTok recipes are a huge thing now for get-togethers. So, but she's at least I know something that is regular is she's got this buffalo chicken dip every year that's really good. She makes. So, looking forward to that.
I'm gonna say I assume she's a good cook.
Yeah, yeah, she's a very good cook. She's not afraid to try new shit and weird shit.
Well,
So
And that's why I asked, because that's a tricky thing to do if you're not a good cook. Because like you get everybody all
Mhm.
together all together at once to try something new.
Yeah.
Combustible.
Yeah, we'll have like some random things like wrapped in bacon or like I don't know, she does all kinds of really fun stuff. Um and I mean, I don't think we ever have like if we have anything traditional, it's like there's different like casseroles or uh ham, never turkey.
That's what I was about to
Yeah.
ask. Are y'all ham or turkey guys?
Ham.
Ham.
Yeah,
That's what I'd
always been me
prefer.
too.
We usually have turkey though on Thanksgiving. Christmas is usually ham, or was, I guess, when we were doing the
Yo,
big get-togethers, you know.
good morning, Chemical Witness.
Hey, what
Yeah, he's a ham
Oh,
guy
we're
too.
on.
Up, dude. I need to get my chat pulled up.
Now
Yeah, me too.
there's like a few turkey I've had that's like deep fried or like smoked or something that's good,
Mhm.
but it's one of those like you have to get it right. Like I've had
Yeah.
way too much dry turkey before that.
Dude, amen
It's
to
ruined
that.
it
It can
all.
be the best thing ever.
Yeah,
We did last year. We went to some family and we did turkey, deep fried turkey, which, not something I would have initiated on my own just because of the sheer amount of work. But they did 2 deep fried turkeys and we injected it with that Cajun
Yeah.
stuff and did that. Dude, it was amazing. but that was probably the best turkey I'd ever had. But otherwise, yeah, it most people make it and eat it dry, and it's
See,
not
that's how
fun
I'm
trying to
used to
force
getting
that
it.
down.
That's um, that's my problem with it. Is that it's
Yeah,
never done in a way that's like good. I don't mind turkey. I'm biased towards any Thanksgiving turkey that's ever been presented to me.
Yeah, I think the only
yep.
time I generally eat turkey now is like at a Ren fair or a music festival where they got like those big like
Mm.
Goliath legs that take like 3 people to eat them.
Yeah, that reminds me. One year, my parents did that. They got the guy that's usually at the like the local get-togethers and stuff. I can't remember what his name was, but he used to have the turkey legs at like the block party and stuff like that. So one year they got, I want to say like 10 or 11 of those. And that's what was like at the middle of the table was just like wrapped up giant Goliath turkey legs. Now
Sounds good.
that's good. I'm good with that. That wins over ham because it tastes just as good, if not the same as ham. I'm not convinced it's not a pig leg.
Yeah,
I will
and
say though,
Witness
like,
said ham.
yeah, I will say though that like when it comes to Thanksgiving, like I'm not so big on like the main item there with ham or turkey. It's more so just all the sides that go with it.
Dude, amen to that.
And my
100%.
sister-in-law, like it's her one thing every year that she's got to make the stuffing. Like it's just like some of the best I've ever had.
Yeah, the main course is yeah, I agree with you. It's not the main thing. Hash brown casserole is the best thing. I don't know if y'all do that, but like
Yeah.
Brandy makes that with like the cream of chicken soup and then puts like the buttery cornflakes on top and everything. Like I could eat like an entire tray of that and then just go to sleep. Sometimes we'll make it with like the chunks of like sausage and stuff in it, and it's almost like it's like a casserole at that point. You can just have it as like a breakfast, but yeah, that and sweet potato casserole. I don't know if y'all like that too, where it's like candies and pecan, can't like sweet brown sugar and pecan on top of like mashed potato, sweet potatoes. Oh, that's like a dessert as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
I don't think I've ever been too big on sweet potato that much, just because of the sweetness. Like it.
I love it.
When it comes to casseroles, green bean casserole, that's my like, that's top
See,
tier for me. And
I,
if you don't agree, that's okay. It's just not been made right for you.
I think you're right. It's just that like the beans get so slimy with the you know what I'm talking about with the
Mhm.
soup or whatever, and I don't know, it's just weird texture. I love green beans though,
I know.
so
I
I
think
don't know what the problem is.
we ran Chemical Witness off. He had an edible at the wrong time.
Already got to go. I ate an edible at the wrong time, but now I'm hungry. I mean, I think you ate it at the right time, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned. Yeah, you better
It's
be
like-
back though with food.
It's like a week's
Cam Witness,
4 or
what are you
5
gonna
day
eat?
like a 4 or 5 day early like pregame.
Is that what y'all are gonna do?
Oh, always.
No, you gotta numb yourself for all that food.
When it comes to like casserole though, I think
or-
like chicken casserole is like generally my favorite.
Oh man,
Like it's
that
just
one
like
Bryson
chicken
made.
casseroles.
it's like just generally like my favorite like anytime.
Yes,
But
it's like the best comfort food. And you're talking about the one
Yeah.
that's like with the soup and it's got like the crunchy crackers, whatever, breadcrumbs on top. Yeah, didn't Bryson make that like a year ago or something?
yeah, I'm sure she
And I was
did.
like, yeah, Brandy makes it too. But something about the recipe Bryson did, I was like, this tastes exactly like the one my mom used to make. And doing that with like over some rice or something. Oh my God. Casseroles are generally awesome, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah. What about like, are y'all
Do
big
y'all
on
ever do
desserts?
like,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
well, I was gonna ask if, do y'all ever do like the casseroles or like comfort casseroles that are like, they're either like biscuits or tater tots on the bottom, and then like layers of things, and it's usually topped with like mac and cheese and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, kind of like a shepherd's pie kind of thing.
Mm,
Kind of like that, yes. Yeah.
that sounds good. I've
I
not
usually
had that.
expect something like that on the table too on Thanksgiving. Just some like a conglomerate is what my mom would call it.
That sounds yummy. I'd eat it for sure.
I'm like
Um,
looking up like all these different images, of just different Thanksgiving food, like trying to jog my memory, and I come across like the one that like nobody in my family ever ate except my brother, and that's cranberry sauce. And it cracks me
mm,
up like every picture I find of it, it's like literally like straight out of the can. Like it like literally like straight out.
Yeah. It's just like a Jello, cranberry
Yeah.
Jello or something, right? It's like
It's
I've
like
had the real stuff. And it's. I mean, I'm sure you guys have too, of course. But like, and that's I like that. But yeah, I don't like putting a slab of gelatinous cranberry on my turkey.
no.
no.
Can you make me some coffee?
It's
Okay, I got a cup. Sorry
like
guys,
the
I'm
best I've had is like um
breaking the
my
fourth
wife
wall here.
my wife will make like some chutney that's like on some fried chicken
Ooh,
and stuff.
ooh,
That's
some
usually pretty
chutney.
good.
Oh, you have that with some caviar? What the fuck is a chutney? I don't know what a chutney
Yeah,
is,
well,
dude.
yeah, yeah. I'm
What,
curious.
It's
what
just
the
like
hell's a
the
chutney?
chicken, and it's like uh I don't know exactly the way to explain it, but it's just like a topping on top of the chicken and stuff.
Mm.
Okay, it's like a. All right, well, I know some fancy words too, so stay tuned.
Let's hear them. No,
I'm just
pop them out now.
chutney. I don't think I got one better than chutney, dude. I can say photosynthesis in Spanish, but that's about it. Um, but anyway, that's not the point. But yeah, Thanksgiving's cool, but man, once it's mainly about getting to Christmas. Are y'all? Oh wait, let me ask this:
Mhm.
Did y'all do any Black Friday shopping? I'm not saying you should. I'm just curious.
No, I'm too broke for
I
that.
worked in retail for
Oh,
too
dude.
long. Um, if I'm shopping on Black Friday, it's because I had to work that day and I'm already at the mall and I got off before we closed.
Yeah.
Um, but since I haven't worked in retail, I don't think I've been in a retail store on Black Friday. I will be this Black Friday for the first time in a few
Oh,
years, but
really?
yeah,
Dude, what are you
I'm
just
going
gonna
back.
stock?
I'm
Are you
just
gonna
going back to
register?
work. No, I'll be getting shoes for people.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no,
No,
I'm
that could be fun.
yeah, I think it will be fun. I'm actually looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm never in a store shopping on Black Friday by choice. I'd rather there's plenty of other days a year. And now the way they do Black Friday sales is it's not just one fucking day. It's like 2 weeks
Exactly.
before and a week after, so they can kind of, phase out that traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the digital sales now make it so much,
Yeah.
or online sales make it so much bearable. I don't think I've ever been shopping on a Black Friday. We might have gone out and seen a movie or something, but I'm right there with you. I was working at GameStop when um, I did some Black Fridays, and I worked at a KB Toys, and I don't miss those experiences at all, dude.
You worked at a KB Toys?
Yeah, man,
I
that crazy.
never
That was
knew
the
that.
first.
That is
Yeah,
crazy, bro. Holy
yeah,
shit.
no, dude. I worked at KB Toys when like Tickle Me Elmo version
How old are you?
7.3,
I was gonna say you're showing
34.
showing your age.
Holy
Yeah,
shit. I was like, those things were gone by the time I was able to work.
dude, we had one. It was at the it was in Lebanon, Tennessee, and yeah,
Must have
it
been one
it
of the
shut,
last ones hanging
dude, yeah,
on.
it shut down like 2 years later. Thank you, buddy. But no, KB Toys was like my first retail job. I think I was probably 16, and yeah, didn't know what I was getting myself into. I did not do a good job. But I remember the Tickle Me Elmo pandemic was still well and alive. Y'all remember that, right? Like the drama over
Mhm.
Tickle Me Almos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was an ordeal.
I don't know if it's
But
just like a example of like where we grew up, but it seemed like everything back then had some kind of every hot toy or something had some kind of like demonic or like subversive like uh controversy around it or something.
yeah, now it's just all about politics. I miss those days when it was. I miss the days when it was just the toys were evil, the Furbies and the Tamagotchis and um, the Game Boy Colors. Um, but yeah, isn't that crazy? That's a thing that like grown adults at our time were like mugging each other in the parking lots and stuff. Now at least they're doing it over like PlayStation 5s, something that's like really expensive. We're talking like a $40 stuffed
Mhm.
toy that giggles.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that movie, was it Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger? And he's got to get the toy for his son.
I think
You
so,
guys remember
yeah.
that? Sinbad? Sinbad was in it. You've seen this, right, Barrett? Tell me you've seen this movie.
But at the same time you said that, Kanan chimed in and said, "Remember the movie Jingle All the Way?" I
Right,
do. I
fine. Take
don't
the
remember
look.
that movie. I don't know if I've seen it. I'm not sure.
Oh, hey, by the way, hi to the chat, Miss Killigan, Take Root,
Yeah.
and Seamus Boggins. Do we know Seamus?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know Shane. That's a childhood friend of mine. The guy I started skating with. We were best friends growing up.
Oh, cool.
Um,
That's awesome.
I also prefer to do my Black Friday shopping online whenever those sales pop up weeks early. Like, why would you stress yourself
Mhm.
out and get trampled at Walmart whenever you can just order it online?
Because you could save like $5, dude, if you do that. You can save like an extra five. Those doorbuster sales, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So worth it. Yeah, I know. I'm being dork.
I feel like there was a time period there with on like when that transition to online shopping that it was like it's kind of hectic for a
Oh,
few years
yeah.
because it was like everything being sold as soon as it went live. But yeah, I think the best thing now is that it's like a week long
Hmm.
or like different storefronts have different sales like throughout the year. Like Amazon's Black Friday is like at a completely different time period.
What's funny is I didn't know why it was called Black Friday until like 6 years ago. I thought it was called Black Friday because it was like the Black Plague, like just like this. I seriously did. I thought it was just this like looming negativity over the day because it was so bad for retail. And then I found out it's because it's all profit, it's all black. Um, at that point of the year, all the businesses have closed their books, and it's all anything they sell at that point is just gravy. They all hit their marks. So I'm like, huh, it's interesting. But but yeah. Now we're gonna do. I think we've already done half of our quote unquote shopping. I mean, at this point, all the online stores do the best sales and stuff. So, um,
Yeah, I think we've got all of
yeah,
our shopping done for the holidays. The only thing, the only thing I've got to be careful with is some like picking up something for me in one of these deals.
Yeah.
Like really trying to restrain myself.
It's the constant
it's
battle.
hard. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Real quick,
It is
Shane's
hard.
saying that he's
Yeah,
visiting New York City for the first time today, and that's fucking awesome, dude.
that is awesome.
I love getting to see some of the pictures that he posts, like just traveling the world. So fucking awesome. Stoked for you, bro.
That's awesome, dude. I haven't been to New York in a long time. So, you got anything fun you're gonna do there, Seamus? Have you guys been to New York?
No.
I have not. No. Um, my mom went when I was little. I remember her bringing me back like some cool Pokemon stuff. Like it was like probably like 2000, 1999, 2000. Brought me back like a bunch of cool Pokemon shit from New York, but that's my only memory of it.
I think the farthest north I've been is probably somewhere in the Pennsylvania area. when I was a
Mm.
kid, my like being in car shows and stuff, my dad knew a guy that bought one of the actual like on set used cars from Smokey and the Bandit, and he like had to like go up there. The guy that bought it, he went up there and like picked it up and brought it back down to a guy in North Carolina. Outside of that, I think we maybe Ohio. I'm not sure what point was farther north, but yeah, I'd like to go to New York one day.
Yeah. Heck, that would be, I was just thinking how much fun that'd be to go there like together, you know? You don't go by yourself. Like
Mm.
I can't imagine like going by myself. Like you either want to know somebody there or go with a group of people, in my opinion. But I've been there several times because half my family's from New York. My dad's from New York originally. Um, so we've got family in Jersey and New York, so we've been there. But the coolest memories I have is the Nintendo World Store was pretty cool. I went there at the peak of like the Wii. I think I was probably 19 or something like that. And so I got to go to that Nintendo store. And then I remember the Virgin Records store. I don't know if that's still there, but just every like 2 or 3 floors of music and DVDs and stuff. And yeah, just a lot of people. I think we went to Macy's as well, and stuff. But yeah, I've been to the Museum of Natural History, um, downtown. That was really awesome. But I think I was probably 8 or 9.
Yeah.
This is an awesome time of year though to go because it's like that Home Alone 2 season. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Shane, if you're coming through Chattanooga on Wednesday, hit me up. I'm off work. Come see you if you got time.
Sweet.
That's Yeah. I think the furthest north I've ever been. I don't think I know. I've been to Louisville, Kentucky twice, and that's as high as I've went.
Louisville's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Louisville is really cool. I got to spend some time there the first time that I went. Um, got to go to like a cool skate park and around,
Nice.
but um, the second time it was in and out in a day with Brandon in Austin.
yeah.
No, that's fun though. In and out a day.
Yeah, like it was a straight there, straight back,
Thank God
straight
for
there.
It's so
thank
Sit
God
through
for
a
Austin
6 hour
there.
concert. I
Yeah.
know, dude. That guy, I can't. I'm amazed by how willing he is to drive.
I couldn't have done it
to
because like
Austin.
any other circumstances, like there's no way I would have made that trip in one day.
Hell no. 6 hours there, sit through a 6 hour show, drive 6 hours back. No break.
But
Besides
got
Waffle House.
Those
got
drives with friends though are great.
got to see Tool
Yeah.
and had possibly the best and the worst Waffle House experience ever.
Yep. Of all time. Yes.
Why was it the best and why was it the worst? I want to know.
I love this.
So
Go ahead, Brandon.
on the way up there, we decided to stop at Waffle House, get something to eat before the concert, and it was. I don't know if we were like in Kentucky yet or not, but when we stopped and like there was like 2 or 3 guys that were working there at the time that were probably about our age, and we had like
And to say it the best, like they knew what was up.
yeah,
Like,
it's like
to sum them up, they knew what was up.
yeah, we ordered some sandwiches and like both like they came over to the desk or the table and was like, "Hey, will y'all allow us to like make it how we like it?" And we're like, "Sure, go ahead." So it's like jalapenos and like Waffle House sauce and I mean just pretty much anything you could put on that sandwich. And yeah, sure enough, brought it back to the table and it was like the best. Like it's like now my like what I would want for my last meal. Like it was that good.
That's awesome.
So then we.
But
so
why
then,
was it the worst? Okay.
Well,
Okay.
so
Sorry, go ahead.
we went to the concert, and obviously after we left, it was probably like midnight or so. Hungry on the way back home, so we decided to stop at a Waffle House again. Like, well, that was so good, we're going to get more. Well, I mean, this is just by like sheer luck that we stopped back at the same exact store that we did on the way up, and it was like maybe like an older lady that was there and like one guy that was like back doing dishes or something. Like there was already like some guy that was there with his girlfriend. Like he was like passed out on the counter. Like
Forgot about that.
so, like we probably I can't remember. I don't know if you remember or not, Barrett, but I think we like sat there at the table for like 30 minutes before like our order even got taken.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't.
And we ordered it like they did it earlier too. So we were like, yeah, can we get like the sandwich with the jalapenos and the like this and that? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I think I want to say that my jalapenos were on the side and they switched uh our hash browns. So I think me and Brandon had to do like a switch around with our hash browns. So like mine were on his plate. I don't know. It's so stupid
And
to go and like get A1 service and then come back through and then get like
so then
awful.
as we're eating, there's like another group of
No,
guys that
no, it
came
was a
in.
shift change for sure.
Yeah, it was right at shift change. And like while we were eating, there was like another group of guys that came in and were like, I mean, they look like decent citizens and look like they could afford to eat and everything, but they were like asking to wash the dishes. And at some point, one of them did go behind the counter, but I don't remember exactly. Like we got out of there before like hell broke loose.
Jeez
Yeah,
Louise,
it was,
man. Good times.
but yeah, that definitely like I love that you still order that, Brandon, because I do too. Like every time we go to Waffle House now, we're just like chasing that dragon.
Yeah, definitely.
Has it ever been as
And
good?
the fact that
No.
it happened, no. And the fact that that happened on
Of
a
course
day
not.
shift, like day shift made that sort of impact on us as far as Waffle House. Like, because I, growing up, Waffle House is something that's after midnight. Like, that's an after midnight meal. It's the best way to enjoy it is 1 or 2 in the morning, get something on your stomach. But somehow a 3 or 4 o'clock, you know, afternoon stop at Waffle House ended up being the best Waffle House experience of all time. Somehow, I don't know.
It was Providence. It's destined. That's awesome though. You know what's funny is I used to do trips like that too, but they were to Chattanooga, which is weird because now I live here in this area, but we used to drive 2, 3 hours from where I was at, Middle Tennessee, and do the same kind of stuff. Not necessarily concerts and stuff, but just go hang out in Chattanooga, eat some good food and stuff like that. So um, cool
What are
knowing you
some
guys.
things that you would travel to Chattanooga for?
Well, I mean, first of all, just to see the city. Like
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful city, and it's got the river, and then it's just this is gonna sound maybe weird, but it's just like a really clean city. Like it just walking
Mm,
around, it feels safe. It feels like kept up well and stuff. And there's just a lot of like art and stuff. So just walking around it and stuff was cool. But then also like the aquarium,
nice.
it was a cool attraction. Then Rock City, and then I was it is it Mammoth Cave that's at Rock City, or maybe I'm mixing two things. But there's like that cave you can go down into in the elevator. Have y'all ever done that tour?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
that. Then there's just a lot of unique restaurants that are awesome. There's a ton of good food in Chattanooga, and the drive is great. Just going through the mountains and stuff, getting away from like Middle
Mhm.
Tennessee where it's all very city metropolitan. And oh, then the theater. There's the movie at the time. The movie theater was one of the few 3D screens that was available like in the Tennessee area. I think it was like before, or maybe Opry Mills had happened at some point and then too, but there was the 3D theater and they used to show some cool stuff. And then just the other movies and stuff was cool. So if you wanted to catch a movie while you're here, it was a nice place to do that. So yeah, all those things.
Hmm, that's cool.
Um, yeah. And then
It is a beautiful city. I love walking around Chattanooga, like
yeah.
the bridge and Coolidge and just
Mhm.
that area through there.
Yeah. And is that like over where the aquarium is, just all that like that there's like that man-made river thing that runs through there, and then it's just kind of like this open
Yeah.
area. And then I think there's like Puckett's or something over there that like near the aquarium restaurant, but Yeah, now I'm wanting to go back to
Mm-hmm.
Chattanooga, just to go hang out. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love me. We've always loved Chattanooga. We came here. We had modest resources at the time, but when me and Brandy got married, we came straight to Chattanooga and we spent like 2 days. We went to it was like the Chattanooga Hotel or something. We got like a suite and then just hung
Mm-hmm.
out in the city and ate and stuff. So yeah, we've always loved it. It's
Awesome.
such a cool place. It's like a treasure too. Not everybody knows about it, so it's not so packed and stuff. But then there's the college, so there's a lot of like artistic students and stuff in the area. It's just a cool place. Yeah, it's my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So holidays stuff. We talked about food and stuff. What about? I think we probably talked about this before, but like, what are some movies y'all watch every year? I think the Harry Potter films are secretly Christmas movies, maybe, or not so secretly, but those are good ones.
Yeah,
And then Home Alone.
with Harry Potter, it's like definitely like since there's 8 of them, it's like good to like start around Halloween, and then we like finish it up around Christmas.
Good call out, Miss Killian. Take Root will be set up in the market for Chattanooga this Friday. That's crazy that this Friday's Black Friday.
Yeah.
And then she agreed that Harry Potter, great Christmas movies. Have y'all ever seen Krampus?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so.
Oh, you gotta watch this. It's like they took Home Alone and then like Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that. It's like the whole Christmas horror movie, and it is awesome. I can't believe y'all haven't seen it. It's become like a tradition for us to watch it every year, and it feels just like those types of movies too. And it's like really well done. But there's like gingerbread monsters and stuff like that. It's really silly and good.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's great.
I know as a kid, I always like grew up watching all of the different, like the stop motion, like older
Yeah.
animations. That's some of my like. I mean, I didn't think of it last week, but that's probably like up there, just from like an artistic standpoint. Like some of my favorite stuff was just the animation and all those old stop motion shows.
No, that's awesome. Is it like the Island of Misfit Toys and stuff? I think
Yeah,
Rudolph. Yeah, dude, I remember those. Yeah, I would
I
say
think, I mean,
Christmas.
Harry Potter for us and um, Nightmare Before Christmas goes from
Mhm.
Halloween to Christmas. Um, Finally at a point where I'm not burnt out. I can refresh how I feel about it because my daughter enjoys it.
yeah, same.
Um,
I'm not completely
Mhm.
like burnt
Miss,
out on it, but like yeah, it's like she got into it, and now it's like a comfort movie for her, where it's like she'll turn it on to go to bed or something.
sweet. Miss
I've never
Filligan
seen the
called out a
entire
Christmas
movie.
Story, which is so good. The Christmas Story and the
Oh,
Santa
with the
Claus movies
lamp.
with Tim Allen. The growing up, I did watch those a lot. I love the Santa Claus movies. I
Yeah,
feel like Tim Allen was my childhood dad. How many
Dude,
things
yeah.
I liked that he was
I think
Him
that's
and Robin Williams, man.
I mean, we
Yeah.
probably watched those every year as a kid, and I think that's
Oh,
like
Hook.
one set of movies like we've watched like with our kids. As far as Christmas Story
Mhm.
goes, like that's like probably number one. Watch it every year,
Mhm.
2 or 3 times a year, and in our house, especially growing up, that was like Christmas Day. It don't matter how many times like we're watching it through. Like it just stayed on the TV as kind of like for the ambiance throughout the day.
I
Yeah. No, that's kind of what it
think
is, just hearing it in the background.
Actually,
Christmas Story,
when I
I haven't put
mentioned
it on purpose in a long time. I remember catching it. It'd be on any channel whenever we had cable. So,
when I earlier I mentioned like going to Ohio, and that's like one of the places we went while we were there was the where the Christmas Story house is. It's like right
Oh, I
up
didn't know
in
that was in Ohio.
yeah. Well, the movie's set in like Indiana or something like that, but yeah, it was filmed in Ohio.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I grew in Ohio. Well, I grew up. I lived there till I was like 9, so that's cool. I didn't
I
even
think it's
realize
like right
that.
outside Cleveland. It's either
Okay.
in Cleveland or in Canton, one of the two.
Yeah. I've never been the biggest fan of that movie, but I do like it. I remember the scene with the dad. Okay, when the when the kid gets in trouble for saying I think the F word while they're
Yeah.
changing the tire. That scene was terrifying to me. Like I said, like seriously, I was like how in trouble he got and how they really captured like how bad it was. Like I was like, oh yeah, that's how it'd be if I said it real bad. Or I remember just that scaring the hell out of me, which is so silly to think about now. Um,
I remember feeling
but yeah,
similar.
that gave me such bad vibes, man. And oh, when the kid licked the telephone pole, I thought that was horrific. Like that was like, oh my God, this poor person. I can't imagine doing that. Like just it didn't laugh at it at all. It was just like, oh my God, that can happen. Like just being so scared by that. That's just I don't know. I guess I must have been really, really young when I saw it
Yeah,
because
that was
yeah,
one of those like terrors. It's like you thought was going to be a big deal like growing up,
yeah.
kind of like
That and
quicksand.
quicksand.
It's
Yeah.
like when I was a kid, I thought quicksand was just going to be like everywhere, or not everywhere, but like
Dude,
I thought
it
I'd
is
see it.
everywhere, man.
Walking through life worried you're just gonna step in quicksand out of nowhere, or get your tongue stuck to a pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you slip with your tongue out or something, and fire department would have to come. You're like, what's the fire department gonna do? You're right. You're like, I was thinking like cut his tongue off or something. Yeah, it's such
Great.
a weird thing. But Hook is a good Christmas movie. Well, I think I think considered a Christmas movie because it like the beginning starts during the Christmas time. But that's one we watch a lot.
Are there any like specific Thanksgiving movies you guys know of?
Hmm.
Noah, there's that Thanksgiving horror movie that came out, but I haven't seen it. It's the only one I can think of.
No, not that I can think of. There, wait, yeah, there's like the murderous turkey one. Is that the one you're thinking of, Nick?
Or I
Gobble,
haven't seen it.
go, some, uh, shit,
Gobble.
I
I
don't
think
know.
you're thinking of
I
something
gobble
else.
something. No,
Oh, that's
no.
funny.
What the fuck is that movie called? I don't know. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I know that there's a Thanksgiving horror day or horror movie or whatever, but I don't
yeah,
know.
I'm
I'm
sure
not, and
there's.
it's been a long time since I've been the kind of person that's like put on a movie for the mood of the holiday. Like, I don't know, I'm not good at that. Not good at
Yeah,
watching, sitting and watching through anything, anyways. So,
Think the one I like that I don't know if it really gets brought up much as far as like being specifically for Thanksgiving, but it's at the Adams Family Values, and I think Wednesday like dresses up for Pocahontas for Halloween or the Thanksgiving in the movie.
hmm,
I feel like now that you mention it, I feel like Pocahontas might have been a movie we watched around Thanksgiving. I don't know why, but that just comes back. It's too long since I've seen that too. The Disney animated one.
Yeah,
I
But
haven't seen
yeah, I
that.
don't know. Thanksgiving though, I don't feel like there's much lead up in my mind towards the holiday. It's like there's the day itself and then a couple of days surrounding it, but it's not like Christmas or Halloween or something where like you're kind of celebrating it all month long. Um, that's just me personally though. But the day itself always, you get warm feelings. It kind of kicks off the the Christmas season,
yeah, or at
you
least
know.
that's like the threshold for like putting out a Christmas tree. I think
Did y'all put your trees up yet?
we haven't yet. We've been getting real ones the past couple of years,
Oh,
and
really?
so we haven't went and got one yet.
With the cats?
It's not too bad.
Okay. I was saying I've seen enough of those YouTube fails with the cats going after maybe it's
Yeah,
not real trees. Maybe they just go after any trees.
we put ours up, or well, Kanan and Ollie put ours up a few days ago. Um, luckily our cats aren't internet worthy with it, so they just leave it alone. Because I've always worried about that too.
Yeah, we like Miss Killigan just said, like we usually let Loki outside and he gets his fill of trees by just climbing outside. But yeah, I know as a kid growing up, it was always like we'd typically have like I guess Thanksgiving around lunch, like late lunch, and then the evening would be spent like putting up the Christmas tree.
Hmm.
It's a good memory.
I've got family that just like that told me at Halloween that they had put up their tree like 2 days before Halloween. I'm like, man, that's too early.
Crazy, bro. I like to enjoy the. I feel like the Halloween stuff doesn't get to stay up long enough. Like I like all that stuff. My brain keeps all the fall Halloween stuff out through Thanksgiving, and then sometime in the beginning of December, Christmas can have that. 'Cause I'm not like I don't know. Like I love Christmas. I don't know if I like the really care much for like the theme of Christmas in anything. Like I don't like Christmas music.
Uh,
Um, there's a few movies that I can associate with Christmas that I do like, but like I like the vibe of Halloween so much more. So,
yeah, I'm the type that
like our
like
Christmas
I
tree is
could have
all
like Halloween
decorated with,
decorations all year.
yeah, yeah, I would. I honestly wouldn't put ours up. Um, but like since Ollie's been getting into Nightmare Before Christmas, we've got a bunch of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff like on our tree. So still has like a spooky vibe to it, but yeah, I'm willing to wait as long as possible to get the Christmas vibes up, just because.
I love the Christmas vibes. I agree though. Like I don't actively listen to the music or anything, but just having the vibe of like scented candles and Christmas lights and
Yeah, I like
music.
that.
Yeah.
What Kanan's found like Christmas lo-fi, which has been tolerable.
Oh, yeah. That sounds nice.
That's been much more tolerable than like I don't know. I have so much weird feelings about Christmas because of how working in retail for 10 years makes you feel
Mhm.
about Christmas music
Yeah.
and I don't know, just wishing that you were around your family more, not stuck at work, dealing with
Yeah.
selfish people. Um,
And it's
so
also
like
like
I
10
get
it's also like
still
10
riding that
songs.
feeling of burnout from it.
It's like 10
Yeah,
songs and you
over and
just hear the
over.
same ones over and over again.
Yeah,
Hey,
or
Bill
deep
Murray could make a Christmas album and that would be one I would listen to back to like over and over
bro.
again.
Oh my God, it'd be
That's the
Christmas
Lindsey
season all year
Sterling.
long. Yeah, Lindsey Sterling's is really good too.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
so.
lo-fi I think is a good bet. Or just instrumental. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, that's why like I
yeah.
forgot to mention the Lindsey Sterling stuff too, because she's had that on as well, and I actually enjoy that. Like, can take songs I've been annoyed with for years and years and years and actually freshen them up.
Yeah. Um I was gonna say this is kind of off topic, but before I forget, Barrett, they have at Books a Million, they have the vinyl, Bluey soundtrack vinyl.
Yeah,
I
Bluey the
y-
album.
yeah, I saw it and I was like, I wanted to, I was like, I almost got it for you. I was like, if I
We've
know,
almost bought that a few
yeah,
times. Whenever it released, I almost bought it from Amazon, but kept myself from doing it because I don't listen to them enough.
yeah,
Like sometimes
um,
I have to restrain myself from buying a vinyl just because like, oh, I want this, but it's $30 and realistically it's just gonna go with the other vinyls and not be played enough.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm right there with you. It's like I've got a couple vinyls. I've got a vinyl player I think I've used once. Um, but it's really more, I like just more the novelty of having it, like the art on the cover
Yeah.
is always blown up, and then there's even art on the vinyl, right, and stuff. So, but yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, this seems like something Barrett
Mhm.
needs in his house.
Yeah. I mean, we know that album front to back, but
Yeah,
I love the art on that where it's just like Bluey sitting there with the headphones on, like
yeah,
looking off.
yeah. No, that's awesome. And then, oh, that gets me on the topic though, like still talking about holidays. Maybe, I don't know, are we getting too far into Christmas with this conversation? We need to save that.
Possibly.
Because now I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. I was gonna say, like, what's a really cool like holiday, a gift, Christmas gift you remember getting or that you're excited about that you remember, but maybe that's one to save for another time, as we get closer to Christmas.
Hmm.
Yeah. We'll have to put a pin in that. Keep it in our thoughts.
Yeah, I'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like
I don't know how many
that
more.
could be
I'm sorry, go ahead.
that could be more of a longer conversation, just like talking about our different Christmases growing up. So I'm good with saving that one too.
Yeah.
And Bryce or Miss Killigan said, "What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?" Um, I think I said mine was green bean casserole, and I'll die on that hill, even though you both were not feeling
I
it.
mean,
That's
I get
okay.
it. A lot of people
I don't
like
mind
So
it.
green bean
more for
casserole.
me. More for me. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah,
No,
chicken
good.
casserole is mine.
And that's one you associate with Thanksgiving
Yeah.
specifically.
Growing up, my mom always made it, or my aunt made it. Would always like kind of alternated. I feel like it was always there, and I think we've kind of done it every year since I've been married too. I think, not totally sure on that.
I gotcha. I think for me, it's hash brown casserole. That's what I'm going to stick with. I think that has to be had during Thanksgiving
Mm.
Day.
I mean, honestly, that's the casserole trifecta right there that we've just stated. So I think we would be fine if that was all that was on the table, and then some desserts. Which you started to mention desserts, and I don't think we got to go on that. But
No, we should
um,
jump into that too. But real quick to the chat, Take Root said Lolly's pumpkin cheesecake bars with chocolate chips. Yum.
yes, yep,
Um,
that's my
and then
mom. Something
Miss
she makes
Killigan
every year.
said pecan pie. I don't know if I've had pecan pie that everyone talks about, or maybe I just
Listen, dude,
ate one bad pecan pie.
I finally did. I have never been a pecan pie person, but my sister's birthday was a few weeks ago, and my mom made her a pecan pie for her birthday with
Mm.
vanilla ice cream on the side. But that pecan pie, holy shit. That was the one where I was like, I get it. I get it. This is the best thing ever. So I immediately was like, this is what I want for my birthday too. Like it was so good. Oh, it was a cobbler. It's a pecan cobbler. My bad.
Oh,
Either
cobbler.
way. Either way, fucking incredible.
Is that what did you in
Mm.
the later on that evening?
Yes. Yes. Because she made a pot roast and I had two giant bowls of that. And then I had two giant plates of the pecan cobbler with ice cream.
Why is that so funny? I don't know. And when you say giant bowls, like Take Root, can you confirm how big these bowls were? Because I'm just imagining you eat like your stomach mass in beef.
Hmm. That was
I miss
a
pot roast. Pot roast
piece
is
of
so
shit
freaking.
after that.
That's awesome though. That's how you
It
know
was
it
so
was
good.
really good though, is when you get sick as a dog.
And heads up, that's what I asked for my birthday too. So if we make any plans after that, it's probably gonna be the same situation, if not worse. But I'm willing to go through it again. Very willing to put myself back through that hell because it was so good.
Yeah. I think for me it's probably like, I mean it's pretty boring, but like pumpkin pie I love with tons of whipped cream on it. It's hard to it's kind of like pizza. It's hard to screw it up, even if you get like the cheapest pumpkin pie. It's pretty basic, right? So yeah, I like that a lot. And then yeah, otherwise, I don't know, I'm not huge into desserts, but I mentioned earlier the sweet potato casserole, and that's to me it's like a dessert. It's like the mashed potatoes mixed with like condensed milk, brown sugar, and then baked with like the pecans, brown sugar topping, and butter. Oh, freaking! I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. But yeah, that's one. I don't remember the last time I probably had that because you got to know someone who's actually going to make it. But yeah, that's right up my alley.
My mom makes this strawberry cake that I don't really like. She makes it every year because it's my stepdad's favorite thing. But it's like you know how they make like tres leches cake and it's got like the milk and the cake is like real spongy. It's something like that where it's like a really spongy, soft, like wet cake with like strawberries and just like icing on top of it. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's whipped icing, but like that is really good too. I just have like good memories of every year when we make it or when my mom makes it and we're eating dessert. My stepdad just goes into this weird trance whenever he's eating it, and it's just become a bit at this point where he's eating the strawberry cake and he's just like you can't talk to him. You can't talk to him while he's eating it. He is in another world.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, those are all good desserts. Yeah, gosh, the holiday is such a time of just packing it on, man. Do y'all like take a break afterwards or not really? Like I don't know about y'all, but like after the holidays, I'm like, okay, what should we have for dinner tonight? After all the leftovers are gone, it's like I don't know, let's have like a salad, or some soup,
Yeah.
something lighter.
Yeah, I definitely should think like that.
And then see, Miss Killian. My mama used to make coconut cake with black walnuts. Oh, that sounds really good. Brandy makes this cake. I think it's like a Snickers or peanut butter cupcake, and it's like got like a can of like condensed milk in the cake mixture, and then the icing is
Oh,
like whipped and got like crushed up chocolate on top, and it is
holy
stupid
shit.
how good it is stupid how good it is. Like me and the boys will just like eating it laughing because it's like this has no it has
That
no
good.
like it's one dude, it's so good. And not only that, but it's like we're like there's no point in eating this because whether you eat one bite or you eat the whole cake, you're not going to be satisfied. Like
Yeah.
it's like where do you start and end eating this? It's like it's so amazing. And it because it's so the cake is so moist, it's literally got like you can see it glistening or whatever with like the condensed milk. Oh my God. That's one
That
of those where
sounds
like,
insane.
dude, yeah, gosh, Brandy's got to make that sometime soon. It's so good. It's unbelievably. It's the best dessert probably I've ever had. But we don't typically have it during Thanksgiving. That's why I didn't mention it. I think we've had it for birthdays and stuff. My grandma used to make that, but it is stupid good. We'll have to have it before the end of the year. But yeah, do you guys have like any things you like tendencies of things you do around the holidays, whether it's um like even if it's not a holiday or Thanksgiving like thing, do you have like a band that like you listen to or an album you listen to or game you play or something like that just reminds you of the nostalgia of that season? I know for me it's like I was just looking at something on my PlayStation and I was like God of War Ragnarok has actually become a game that gives me holiday vibes because it starts off during Fimbulwinter, right? And so there's snow everywhere. And so I also remember
Yeah.
that with like Uncharted 2, because there's a lot of like the Himalayas and stuff like that in the game. So I love to play that stuff during the holidays. Now Hogwarts Legacy has kind of becoming one as well. But of course for me it's just mostly games. But y'all have anything like that?
Nothing that really comes to mind.
Yeah.
Probably like handheld stuff, like the Pokemon games
Oh yeah,
can make me think of like the holiday season, like getting together. Because I remember growing up and like waiting on when like cousins and stuff would come over and bring link cables, and we would like battle and trade and all that kind of
nice.
stuff. So like and I feel like there's always like good events going on around Christmas for Pokemon, as far as like,
Mhm.
and like there's usually like a movement on Christmas every year to like wonder trade out like cool shit because some kid out there is turning his Pokemon game on for the first time, and like just I don't know, like it's like a way to send out good vibes to new players. So um if I can't really think of anything specific, but if I had to, it'd be something like that where like,
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no, I'm
more of
right
a
there. That's actually a good point. Yeah, because there's always the games were coming out around the holidays, and then you were waiting till the
Mhm.
holidays to get them or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many more thoughts I have on Thanksgiving. What else? What
Yeah.
else you guys got going on? Any news? Any cool news? I know we got like Game Awards coming up. We got. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I was
think of
going to
what
ask,
else.
as far as like Game Awards, have you had a chance to like refine your thoughts on it since last time we talked about it, Nick?
Yeah, I thought about it a little bit more. I don't know. I think we kind of got to what my feelings were through our conversation, but it's still fun to talk about. Yeah, I mean, like what part? Like just how I feel about them in general, or like what I think of the nominations, or
Yeah, more
what?
so than the nominees, at least for specifically Game of the Year.
I feel like ultimately I feel like what they do with those Jeff Keighley Game Awards is they pick half the games for all the different nominations, and they're like they make sense. You're like, okay, expected to see this game, expected to see that game, makes sense. Like really good reviews, and then they do another half that's like, okay, don't even know if I've heard of that, or I don't know if I'd say that's game of the year, and they just I don't know, they do that to maybe be try to be diverse, and I guess that makes sense, but it's hard for me to take it seriously sometimes. Like I think one year they gave game of the year to the Walking Dead game, and I know a lot of people loved that, but there was like
The
other
Telltale game?
huge, yeah.
Hmm.
And I still remember that because it was like, okay, really, like that's the best game of the year. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the show because back to like the holiday stuff, it does come out, obviously this time of the year, so it's a nice tradition kind of during that season. And then the announcements are always exciting. Like it's something I like to watch with the kids, with friends and stuff, and see like what trailers get announced. And I do like the awards themselves, like when people win that you're excited about, if it's a game you love, stuff like I know Baldur's Gate won a ton of awards last year, and I didn't connect with that game a ton just because it was so overwhelming, but I liked getting to see that team win after all the time and work they spent on it and see them get success from it and the voice actors and stuff too. Um,
Mhm.
Brandy just said Kingdom Hearts can be a good holiday game too. Yeah, it can for whatever reason. I mean, there is that the Halloween Town world. Oh, but also in Kingdom Hearts 2, um you go to Santa's workshop and all that. So that was a cool part too. But yeah, but back to the awards stuff. Barrett, do you pay any attention to the awards? Like, do you have any
I don't
curiosity or interest?
I don't think I've ever watched the awards specifically for like the Game of the Year stuff. I do remember watching like G4 growing up and watching like Attack of the Show and stuff like that. So I would like,
Hmm.
that's probably like the last time I really paid a whole lot of attention to like who's in the running. I did glance at the list this year because I was just curious about like how much Final Fantasy VII was nominated for, and I was happy to
Yeah.
see it pretty scattered across that. So it stands a chance somewhere. I don't know about hopefully Game of the Year. I didn't. I couldn't. I can't remember what that list was, but I feel like it at least stood a chance on a few of the categories it was in. And I think what did Aerith's voice actor get
Yeah,
nominated? Was
Looking
Brianna
right
Brianna
White.
White?
now.
Yeah,
Let me see.
Yeah.
She did get
Um,
nominated or didn't?
yeah, she did.
she did,
She was the only one that did. Which
which is
I would
kind of
have been.
crazy.
I would have been
I don't,
more. I would have put
she's
Barrett's
great, but
voice actor on there.
yeah, yeah, there's
Who's
definitely,
actor?
Barrett's.
You cut out. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, honestly, probably all of them could have gotten nominated, but yeah,
Oh,
I
for sure. Like, I mean, I'm a little biased on that, but yeah, I think all of them could. But like, he was the one character like playing back through OG, and I'm like, I can't play this game without hearing Barrett's voice now.
yeah,
yeah,
just nailed it. Yeah, or
yeah.
I mean, even like the Red 13, the change up with him, like that being the same, like that, just showing a voice actor's range. Um,
hmm
Don't go too far into that just yet.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was like, how far
oh yeah,
is this?
I want. But
Um,
just a great voice actor in general. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know. I
Bri-
thought Aerith was an interesting like choice for that, but it's not a bad choice. I think any of them deserve recognition, but
why do y'all think she did get the nomination for character? I
well,
mean,
here's the thing. I think she's the one that's most active outside of like voice acting for the game, where she's active with like a community of people and like kind of using her. I'm not gonna say I don't say this in a negative way at all. I think like I don't mean this negatively, but like she does use her fame with her voice acting with Aerith to like kind of charge her. She streams and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe it's like her proactiveness with the community
I got you.
as
Yeah,
well, where like I don't know how um, active those other actors are with like being related to the character.
well, I mean,
Um,
the only other one that's like out there as much as Matt Mercer, but like he didn't get a lot of lines in this game with Vincent yet.
yeah.
I thought Tifa was great, right? Like
hmm
the dramatic, like she like obviously great character, but her dramatic scenes with Cloud and stuff, like great performance. Like forgot it was even a video game character when she's having these intense moments with Cloud or remembering something. Um, she was never one of my favorite characters in the original. Like it was fine or whatever, but I thought the voice actress did really good. To me, I think that was a superior performance, just memorably than Aerith's. So, but I mean, they all
Yeah.
did. They are all perfectly cast at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think over time, like Cody Christian's really like grown on me that like just because of the
hmm
role he's playing with Cloud, I think he does it really well. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
John Eric
Like
Bentley is like hands down like the perfect casting though for Barrett.
No, but
um,
he sounded exactly like that too in your head in the original game. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's always had a voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Other than that, I can't remember who else was on that list. Um, or like what else were on the different categories, but I'm just hoping that Rebirth gets the love that it deserves through a few of those
Yeah.
categories, as many as it landed in.
I'm
I'm
looking right now.
Um,
Rebirth got nominated for Game of the Year and Best Game Direction, Best Narrative.
mm,
Yeah, so Best Score and Music. I think it absolutely deserves to win Best Music. I mean, I think it's kind of wild that if it didn't, not
it,
only because the
if it's
music's
fair,
incredible. Yeah.
if this is actually judged fairly, I think it deserves like especially music, yeah, but it deserves more than like the direction. Uh, I don't know. I feel like what it went up against with Game of the. Can you name the list of what it's going up with? Just Game of the Year.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's going up against all right. Astrobot Balatro, however you say that. Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. Okay, we're gonna have to talk about these after in a second. But
Eh,
Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, and then Metaphor Refantasio. I I think it's a really interesting list.
I think so too, especially because one of them's a DLC. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
sure, it's
I
great.
don't have any. I agree with
Sure,
you
it's
guys.
great.
It is great, but
But
it's not.
if it
You know,
loses out to a DLC, I'll just be a little bummed, to say the
I
least.
think it'd
Like,
be absolute. Yeah, it'd be stupid.
I haven't played
Uh,
everything on that list, but I will say that, and I may be a little biased, but I think Rebirth is like the clear favorite for me. But I'm concerned with it being exclusive. It's going to hurt it.
mm,
And also the way they do the voting on this, they do allow like a fan vote, and it's like 10%. And I think Black Myth is going to like get the most advantage out of that fan vote. Not even, I mean,
yeah.
from what I've seen, the game's good, but there's also just like a movement behind it,
mhm.
like
Mhm.
kind of devoid of like the gameplay and stuff itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't. I think as far as like how ambitious Wukong was and how big the environments are and how much content is, it's really impressive. But I don't think it's game of the year. Yeah, I mean, I think Rebirth should be the winner, and I hope it gets to be the winner. But I think they're going to give it to Astrobot personally. I just think that there's just been so much. I'm not saying it is the top game of the year, but I just think that that's what's going to get the award just because there's been nothing but positive, feedback on that game. There's not been a single weird, controversial, like it's not that good type of
Mhm.
opinion from reviewers. Uh,
I'm
but
sure
yeah, as I
it's
play,
I'm sure it's phenomenal. It's just
it is.
I don't think there's enough depth there to justify it being like that high on the list.
The more I play Rebirth, though, the more I'm like, it's not like I'm playing it again right now. So I was playing it last night and stuff, and I was like, whatever flaws it may have, I'm still like, this is feels like I'm playing one of the best games ever, right? Like just the characters, the gameplay, like the combat. I was switching between the characters and stuff, and I was just like, gosh, they gave you like seven fully fleshed out characters with their own combat style and customization and weapons and stuff like that, where you just get one of those in other games. Um, that and then just the world is awesome and all kinds of extra stuff to do. Um, and the story's just so good. The music's so good. I definitely think that deserves to win it. But yeah, Shadow of the Erd Tree. I don't know if that'll ever actually make sense to me why that's on for Game of the Year. I mean, I haven't heard of any other game DLC ever getting nominated as Game of the Year. Like,
I
there's been
I
tons of
think
great DLCs.
Final Fantasy 14 and its DLCs have been nominated before.
Hmm.
Like, I can't
Hmm.
remember which one in particular, but like, it doesn't seem too strange to me that there's a DLC on it because I feel like there's been like larger expansions that have been nominated for that. Like maybe Red Dead's Undead Nightmare,
I don't think
or
the Game Awards have ever had a DLC because I think they just changed the
maybe
rule
not.
on that like last year. Because even last year, like
Okay, fair.
if that rule would have been in place, I think the Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk would have been nominated. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I don't like the idea that a game you probably got to play at least 20 to 30 hours of to get to the DLC should be on the Game of the Year list. Like
No,
that
you
should
got to
be
play it for more than that.
like
That sounds crazy.
it should be like in its own like it should be its own category, which they have a best ongoing category, which is what Phantom Liberty won last year.
Yeah, that's what's even crazier too about that DLC is if you know exactly what you're doing and you're on New Game Plus, yeah, you can get there relatively quick. But the first time I got done the stuff in Elden Ring that you have to get done to get to that DLC, I was probably 100 or 120 hours into the game. And so it's crazy to me that like your new player, they are not going to rush into that DLC. It's not like they're going to turn it on, do one, two things, and access it. Like you've got to be level like 150 even to stand a chance when you get in there. And you have to beat like two of the hardest bosses in the game, and in a game where every boss is like the hardest boss you've ever fought in a game. So it's like, yeah, the entry is just stupid. Um, for them to then be like, yeah, game of the year.
My
Yeah, I
thought
don't know. It just makes it. If I would have never put a DLC as game of the year
my thought process
or
on
just
it's
put
like
DLC.
if I'm somebody that's like watching the game awards, or it's like especially to like a casual audience, it's like if I see the list of nominees and I go, well, what's the best way to play those games? And it's like that one specific nominee, I'm not going to be able to play it without also playing the base game.
Yeah, I mean exactly.
But that
It'd
that
be like
same
nominating.
that same kind of idea though is like what got me to try out Balatro, and I do not believe that it should be like nominated for game of the year, but it is extremely fun.
Mhm.
But it's more of like a time killer because it's like a deck building roguelike, and like it's really fun. I like the pixel art of it, but I don't know how it got game of the year. Maybe it was just one of those situations where it's like just the press, like let's nominate it and then it's going to get more people playing it, which it worked for me. But like I said, I don't think it's game of the year.
Y'all feel like this is all like more guided by the investors?
That's possible. Like there's definitely like a conspiracy part of it where it's like maybe Elden Ring DLC was nominated because it created this controversy or created
Hmm.
this discourse. That's definitely a potential thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think anything with enough money behind it is innocent, 100%. And I think there's a lot of money that goes into the show, um, and just goes into making it happen, and then trying to get all these represented companies there in that room can't be cheap, you know. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't trust a lot of it. Um, when it's all that, and then you've seen how many stupid commercials they have. Like don't tell me that everybody wanted to hear about the Fast and Furious video game, right? It's like that. Yeah, no, they paid a chunk of change to be there to talk about it or give out that award or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I think most the Game Awards in general, this specific one, I think are like about 50% garbage. Like it's just a big commercial with a bunch of stuff that's not related to gaming. They barely focus on the award winners or let you hear their speech. Sometimes they used to announce them off screen and not even show them accepting the award. And I was like, that
Hmm.
garbage, right? And so I think it's more about, I don't know. I think I'd like to think that they're trying to do a good thing for games industry just by making it more credible. I think awards are a good thing, um, because they help sell these games that we do love and stuff and get people's attention who might not be following games as much. But it's hard to take a lot of it seriously, when they did like the DLC thing for Elden Ring. It's like, okay, I don't think that makes any sense to me. Um, but yeah, I'll be looking forward to watching it though. But that's not has nothing to do with the awards. That has to do with the reveals they're going to show. I really think they're going to announce maybe the Switch 2 at the Game Awards.
Think?
I think
You
that's
think that's
wishful
possible?
thinking. I think
You
Nintendo would
think
save.
so?
Do we?
I think Nintendo would save that for their own direct.
They
I
might.
I feel similar. Um, but do we also are the Switch 2, are you calling that a placeholder? Like kind of like a placeholder name? Do you want it to be that similar to the Switch? Or do you want a whole new gimmick? is the whole separate conversation. But like, I don't know that I want the Switch Pro as the Switch 2. Like, if they're going for a new Nintendo console, I think we change it up a little bit, because I don't.
Mm.
When have they done that other than like in the handheld series? Yeah, they make it just a little bit better, but there's no like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't know. I
I, re-
think it.
I
I think
realize
it's got to be. I think it's got to be like a pro model, like that they would label Switch to, because
Mhm.
I mean I don't know what gimmick they would go to next, but I still don't think that for as long as we've had the Switch, like the biggest problem has been performance,
Mhm.
and I think they've got to iron that out before like they just jump to something totally new.
I mean, I'm fine with like still having something that's like in the similar format, but maybe like just a better version of whatever the Joy Cons are, like something that feels better whenever you split it off and it's two different controllers. It's not so like doesn't feel so much like a toy. Um, I don't know. Like I feel like Nintendo's usually like they've always got to add some new gimmick to the pool, and I don't. I'm wondering like, are they really gonna kind of settle for what everyone else wants and just do a pro model Switch and call it whatever? I don't think it'll be called the Switch 2, but like, whatever that is. Or are they gonna add like, some sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's what I want them to do, and there's what I think they will do, and that's a crazy thing though. Like Nintendo's like unpredictable sometimes. Like you think
Hmm.
they're gonna do this thing, and then you're right. They feel like they have to have a gimmick. So like the Wii U, right? Like so that you could have called that like the Wii 2, and
Hmm.
Wii games played on it. It had the sensor bar, but like the central gimmick was different. Like they kind of wasted. I think they kind of wasted their time in some ways trying to make it that much more different from the Wii. But yeah, I mean honestly, I don't. They keep calling it the successor to the Switch, and I don't know how to take that. I do believe a lot of the leaks I've seen for like the patent design and stuff, and I think it really is just a fancier, more powerful Switch. I think it's fully backwards compatible, but I don't. I mean, I could be surprised, but yeah, I think I'd be happy with the Switch too, because I don't need it to be anything more than a better version of the Switch. Um,
Hmm.
and I think
I
that's
just
what it'll
wonder.
be.
I don't know. Like, I'm wondering if just creating something that's more powerful is really going to sell it though to a wider audience as a new generation console. You know what I
It
mean?
it will if there's a bunch of games that are exclusive, right? Like if they release Mario Odyssey 2 and it's only on Switch, I think that would help accomplish that. But no, I see your point though. Will it make it as big as the first Switch?
Yeah, because
It's
like they've got a lot. Like that's a big thing to succeed at this point is the Switch.
Mhm.
I mean, so I mean, where they've got so many versions of it, like, if you're not super worried about, something being like me personally, I don't really go for like step up models. Like I'm sure it's gonna have like its own games and stuff, but it's just weird to think of something like
like a PS5
that.
Pro. Like you wouldn't be into like something like
Well, if
that.
it depends, like it just depends on like yeah, no, definitely not. But uh, um, I don't know. Like I just feel like just having it being scaled up version of the Switch isn't enough to set like to sweep out the numbers of the regular Switch.
I
Like
think
you
you're
said,
right. I think
it
it
having its own games,
yeah.
like first party, a new Mario game, a new Zelda game, a new Pokemon game that are exclusive to it, possibly. But I feel like Nintendo always has something. Like even whenever the DS was getting upgraded or the Game Boys were getting upgraded, like we just think about handhelds. There's always something after at least the Game Boy Advance. there was always something really different about each console that followed it. Where like this SP had the little like closing feature like a phone, like a flip phone, and then the DS kept that, but it had two screens and a stylus. One was touchscreen, and then you've got the DSi, which like was a scale like a little bit better, a little bit smaller. Um, and then you go to the 3DS, and then we're going 3D, but we're I don't know. There's always like some new little thing. So I wonder what the new little thing that's going to give this Switch its own personality and separate itself from the original Switch. Like, I'm fine with
That's a
them
really
keeping
good
the
point.
Switch.
Yeah.
There's just some little new thing that defines it. So I don't know, maybe it's a more
Now,
powerful home console version, like whenever you dock it or whatever, or I don't know. Like, I know they're gonna still keep that. They want the handheld like universal, like it can be used as a home console, used as a handheld, but like I don't know. I just wonder how they're going to really give this one its own personality and not be like get the people that are fine with their Switch to be like, no, I gotta have that.
yeah, I think you're right. Up until this point, I hadn't really thought about why it would need to be more, but you're right. To the masses, it's got to be more than just like, hey, a little bit sharper resolution and better frame rate and better battery. Like a lot of
Hmm.
parents are going to look at that and go, yeah, that's the same thing. You already have it. But I think you're right. They are going to do something weird, and I hadn't really imagined that. I have no idea what that would be. I think it'd be cool if I think what they'll definitely do is they'll add some software features that are unique to the Switch 2, right? And I don't know what that would be, but something it can integrate with that wasn't quote unquote possible on the first Switch. Whether it's the Alarmo device or just how they want to branch out their Nintendo network features and bonuses and stuff
Hmm.
like that to where it can connect with more things more easily. I think that's possible. That's very likely possible. I wouldn't be surprised or blown away if that trailer though before it comes out though, and it like part of the it's still a Switch and it's a Switch because it can transition between all these different gameplay modes. I really wouldn't be surprised if part of that's VR. Like I know they kind of already tried that with they already tried it with the first Switch. I don't know if you ever saw the Nintendo.
Wabo. What
Was
was
that
it
Labo?
called?
Yeah,
Labo.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was awful. It was awful, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, oh, and VR is a big thing. We're pushing for it, and you know,
Oh God, I hope not.
I don't think they're gonna do it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if they just push further into, it can do all these things, and because like frankly though, I don't need the Switch to do anything other than be a handheld console. Ultimately,
I hear you.
like
That's
I
its
hear
I
that.
like
that's its biggest
yeah.
selling
So
point. Like I don't I think right now with the gaming landscape the way it is, I think it would be too much of a risk to try to move away from that in any way. And
Hmm.
so I'm sure there'll be some gimmick to go along with it, but I don't think it's going to be like like a drastic step away from what the Switch is. Like it might be like something more along the lines of like the motion controls being better, because like that was like the biggest thing with the Wii, and I think there's not enough games that utilize some of those Wii like features.
mhm.
So I think it would have to
Hmm.
be like some kind of like hybrid there, but like it's definitely going to have to stay handheld, because like that's like right now, like that's the only corner, like they have the market cornered on that to a degree with like their competitors, the Steam Deck, and like the Portal's potentially going more towards that direction, and Phil Spencer's mentioned the Xbox is working on one, but like that right now, that's really the only like outside of like the first party games, like being handheld's the like its biggest selling factor. And I don't know what they would do to move away from that and
Hmm.
have any hope for success.
What would you guys want it to Like, what will get you excited about a Switch 2? I think we've probably talked about this a little bit. And for me, like, I have pretty low standards, like a longer battery and like 60 frames per second,
Low
playing Tears of the
standards.
Kingdom. They are. Well, hey, I'm making the point. I'm making the point that I don't need that big an upgrade for me to get it. Is what I mean. But it sounds like you guys, or at least you, Barrett, might have higher expectations on some of that before you decide to upgrade.
Well, I don't. If the Switch 2 is a simple like, if it is essentially just a pro model, I know that I'm not going to want it immediately. Now, if it's a pro model with exclusive games that like on launch, I mean, I didn't play Breath of the Wild for a while, so I'll survive on the upgrade. I feel like with Nintendo, I just expect a gimmick at this point. I expect them to throw something out that's going to like really have like a curveball to it. Um, but I mean, everything evolves from what comes before it with them, and the Switch has taken notes from all their handheld systems, the Wii and Wii U, and like created like this perfect console that I think it's legitimately one of the best consoles of all time. I agree. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it could just be stronger and more powerful and I'd be fine with it. But if they're stepping into the next generation of gaming and wanting to compete with, because I mean, the Switch is still its direct competitors. I mean, really, were the PS4 and Xbox One. So like, they're still a generation behind on this upgrade. I feel like it needs
Yeah.
to be a marginal movement forward to be something that competes against the PS5 and Xbox Series X in and rolls over into the next um like level of gaming, PS6, whatever's next. I just feel like it has to be more than just a pro model of the same thing. And maybe not. But given Nintendo's track record, I'm just open to expect a bit of a change up with it, but still not moving too far away from like what the Switch is. I don't know.
Well, here's my call: is it's going to be a pro.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be a pro model. There will be exclusive games, backwards compatibility, but like one of the bigger changes, I think it'll have like exclusive like GameCube backwards compatibility.
Bro, if you could put the
Thank you
fucking
for the
disc in it, if it had a little disc
Well,
tray
I don't think they would do
and
that.
you
They
could
would
put the
try to
GameCube discs in it,
that would be cool. That'd be
Yeah.
and then
cool.
they started reprinting GameCube games and the prices came down from like
Well,
$300 for your favorite fucking childhood game and you could afford GameCube games again, I'm all in.
it would be like
dude.
it'd be like another
Do a
$10 a
GameCube
month.
2. GameCube 2. Do that. It don't even show it to me. I'm sold. This
Conversation
GameCube
is
2.
over. That's where it ends
Yeah.
right there. That's it.
What if the
GameCube 2. Yep.
big launch title, because we haven't gotten it so far. The launch title
Wind
is
Waker 2.
Wind Waker 2, and then that's where like play the original Wind Waker exclusively on this backwards compatibility like Nintendo Switch Online expansion.
I would crap multiple bricks and have immediate anxiety and joy
Toon
into like
Link needs something else for sure. Like, I would like to see him return in something on the Switch, and getting him to come back for a Wind Waker 2 would be dope, while making like the HD version available.
Or
would,
what about this
that would blow my mind.
possibility? Because you mentioned it earlier. So we get GameCube on NSO. We also get DS, 3DS games on NSO. And
It's a Switch with two screens.
I was going to say clamshell Switch.
I hate that idea.
I also don't like that, but
I just it was
it needs something. It needs to do something different. If it folds, that's
for some
nostalgic
people it
and
needs to do
different enough.
something different.
It doesn't have to for me. I just feel like
No,
it
I
just
know.
makes sense for Nintendo. I'm not
I
like I'm not saying that it has to be something completely different or whatever.
But you're
I
saying
do think it's going to
that
build on what it currently is, but it does. I feel like just to follow Nintendo's theme, they've always tried to push some something weird, something new, and
except when they don't, right? You know, that's a weird thing on Nintendo.
I,
Like every 5 generations, it's just like, yeah, no, this is just that. It's just Super Nintendo games. Like the Game Boy Advance was
that's
just
what I was saying. Yeah,
basically, yeah,
the best version of the Game Boy, like it. That's kind of
yeah,
like it, but it going from that moment on, the handheld game was always fucking different. Like
Well,
just I mean, there
well,
were
I
better
mean,
versions of what they previously were, but they had something like the DSi was the DS with internet, right? It was
well,
with internet connectivity.
yeah,
that's
it's true.
why I like the suggestions I make was like that's where my basis is coming from is just how they've handled all the handheld like advancements. Like I think even though that the Switch is dockable, like to be a home console, I think they've kind of left the home console behind, and all the new iterations are following closer to like the Game Boy. So like Game Boy to Game Boy Color, and then so that changed the screen there. Then Game Boy to Game Boy Advance just changed like the size of the shape of the
The
console.
shape.
So then to the SP, you just got a clamshell and a backlit screen. So then to the DS, now you've got two screens. And I just think like that trajectory is like what we should expect from Nintendo going forward. It's just like small improvements like that. So like I wouldn't even be mad if whatever this next iteration is doesn't have detachable Joy Cons and the Joy Cons were just separate. Because like honestly, for the form factor of it, the Nintendo Switch Lite has probably been my favorite, just because it feels more sturdy. And it's like if
Yeah.
they not necessarily that just slapping an OLED on it would be the one thing. Like it's definitely got to be more powerful, like from a technological standpoint. But I don't know. I just think that something like that's more likely. But from like the leaks that have come out, they've made it more like the Joy Cons are have like a magnetic attachment that's supposed to be better than what we have now.
Yeah. So magnets.
Um,
That's
yeah, so
the
magnets would be cool.
How do they work?
That's the
magnets are going to be
advancement.
the
I mean, the
yeah.
chat right now, our
Took the words
chat's
right out
having
of my mouth.
a pretty intense conversation about adding holographic capability, which I don't know how close we are to that, but they done some like the 3DS. That was pretty surreal that they were even able to make that screen, and stuff like that, and 3D gaming without glasses. So it's very possible they could have a um some features like that. But I wanted to ask Brandon before I forget, when you say a pro model, what does that mean to you? You just mean like up pumped up specs first and foremost?
Essentially, yeah,
Good, I'm good.
I can actually handle playing the games that are provided on it.
yeah.
Like the fact that The Witcher 3 is a completely downloadable, playable game on the Switch.
It's
I'm too
stupid.
scared. Too scared to even try it.
But
Dude, it's
tell me
Or if
how
you want
that
to try and
game.
sell me cloud games, I want to make sure that the console is competent enough to run it,
Yeah,
and run it well.
like I said, I think that's like the biggest like hindrance right now is just performance. So like,
Hmm. I agree.
that's a who, right? That's a who. Like not to everybody, not to half the base of people who own it, right?
I mean,
Like
just look at the state that Pokemon was released in, and that tells you
listen,
everything.
yeah, but y'all's kids don't care. Like that's my point, you know. And I think that's Barrett's kind of point too. So like what's it going to do that's going to like get kids to be like, I need this and this is why. And it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I can see why you'd want that. And you won't be able to do this with the Switch you already have. I think like Barrett, you're absolutely right. Like that's a big thing that they have to pitch, whether or not we like what that feature is.
you
They got to
say
convince.
you say that, but I'll give these three examples for like what the three biggest gaming franchises are for kids right now:
Uh-huh.
Minecraft, Fortnite, and Roblox. like technologically, like 3 like the least advanced games is from a technical standpoint. So I don't think it has to be that flashy for kids to get into it. It's just got to be
They're still
popular.
using
It just
Roblox.
changes Nintendo's trajectory to like focus on those things and not their own first party games.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
like I'm using those as an example to say that like it doesn't have to just like fly out of your hands to be cool, you know? Like it doesn't have to have
Oh yeah.
that big of a gimmick, because I hate to say this, and I think it's been this way to a degree all along, but I think we're getting further and further away. They're like, it's just got to be popular. Like I've seen like way too many kids nowadays where it's just like some influencer or somebody famous was into something, and man, that's cool because it's just everywhere.
That's true.
I hate to be cynical
Yeah,
about
sad.
it, but I think
All
that's just,
all the time at work, dude. These kids only know Pokemon. Like here's like an example of that. A lot of the kids that I work with are familiar with Pokemon through the card game because Logan Paul wore one around his neck.
exactly.
Like that is their connection to Pokemon, and that is wild to me. So
That's
I agree. It does have to be popular. I just don't know how Nintendo relates to that kind of thing.
they're in such a
We're
bubble that
probably
it's
gonna
like
see them try,
yeah.
but I don't know. I just like I guess you just give big influencers put the new Switch console. It's not very different, but put it in Logan Paul's hand, put it in like all these TikTok people's hands, and have them be the promoters for it. They'll sell so fucking much, and probably not even have to pay that much on our advertising. So,
Yeah.
What do you guys think made the first Switch such a great thing? I think it's just the sheer fact that it's a handheld console that plays quality console games. But I think like Breath of the Wild was a big part of it being successful, right? That
Yeah.
we didn't have ton of games right away, but we had that, and it's still surreal to turn it on and be like, oh, I got this whole world that I can just take with me in my backpack. Like that's such an awesome novelty. But I don't know.
I think
I
it
don't know
was
if Nintendo.
just the bridge from a home console being portable. Like
I think that too.
now
I
granted,
think it had a great gimmick.
now,
That was a fantastic gimmick.
now granted, like it wasn't playing games, like it wasn't technologically, it still wasn't on the level of the PS4 and the Xbox One, but it was still able to play first party games that were like relatively like comparable to like what would be on a home console, and be able to take it on the go. Like that was, I think that's just the biggest. And just the gimmick of being able to dock it. I don't think we'd really had, outside of like the Wii U, I don't think we'd really had anything like that that was able, like a handheld that was able to be dockable to a TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think that oh, damn, I lost my train of thought. I was reading this comment from Miss Killigan that how does a game gain popularity? For kids, it's usually flashy stuff. Let's see, celebrity endorsements been the way of advertising for a long time. Yeah, I agree that stuff like that, well, they'll need to probably get popular. But I don't know. I also think though that all they have to do is get Monster Hunter Wilds launching on it, and then boom, there's the entire Japanese market. Like they got them taken care of. Like, you play it anywhere, you've got that whole experience. Maybe it's obviously it's going to be a little bit lower than like the Xbox Series X or something, but if it runs relatively well at 20p, and you can play it anywhere. I mean, I think that boom, it's all there. Then they just need a couple things to appeal to the other markets.
I don't disagree that that would be good, but I don't think that's going to get kids into it.
See, I
Sorry,
don't
I
think
cut
that them trying to get a game that's going to run great on current gen to run on the Switch. I don't know if it's even going to be possible if that's a handheld console for it to run as powerfully as it does, and I don't think that they need to cater their like their sales tactic to that because I just do not think that it is going to compete. Like, it'd be great if it can play those games, but if you're someone that's super into the graphics and the frame rate and all this stuff, I don't think that them catering to that market is a good idea. Personally, I don't know.
I just,
I don't understand the markets, but
no, I hear what you're saying. I just think,
because I don't
like,
think
what
it's
game
ever
could
going to
they?
be a true competitor in if we're playing cross generation games. I don't think it's going to be a true. It's gonna it the Switch on its own stood well because it had Breath of the Wild, which was exclusive to it because this Wii U didn't do really well, but like it did have a great game on it, which really put that in everyone's hands because it was more of an approachable console in that way. But
Well, as far as
I
like
think
convincing like people to buy the next one, is that none of the first party games are going to work on Switch. I mean that's really all they have to do in that sense.
Oh, you're talking about like the sequels.
Yeah, like the next
yeah, that you
Mario, the
can't
next
play.
Zelda isn't going to be
yeah,
playable on the original Switch, and that's probably all it's going to take to
yeah,
bridge that gap.
they're
Yeah,
like higher definition games of their own, though, like their own first party games that are gonna hold it up for sure.
what do you think? What do you think? So we've talked a lot about like the hardware, and maybe that's just a small piece, but maybe it's that launch game that they put out that everybody wants to play on the go. Like, what do you think that could be, or what would you want that to be? I think like an Animal Crossing at launch would be awesome. I think the last Animal Crossing blew it out of the water as like their most successful one they'd ever release, especially the time they released it, having it on the go, awesome. I think also like a Pokemon or a big Mario game. I think those are like three options. I know that we're getting Metroid Prime 4, but I don't think that's gonna sell 20 million units. I mean, I
It
really
would
don't.
sell it for
But
me. Metroid Prime 4
I
would sell
know,
that one for me.
yeah.
If it was exclusive on it, like, well, that fucking sucks, but at least I got this one I can trade in. Um, the new Pokemon game, the Legends ZA, I mean,
Hmm.
Legends Arceus was pretty ambitious. It would be cool to see that fleshed out on better graphics and stuff. So if that was like a title, like one of the launch titles for it, that would be awesome. Um, I obviously a new Mario game. I don't know if it's soon enough to do, or like if it's been long enough to do another Zelda for the launch. I don't know if they can recreate that again with like
No.
Not if
after
it's
Tears of the King.
not if it's a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom, but if it's
But if
Wind
it
Waker 2,
Wind Waker 2, something that hits heartstrings, yeah, for sure. I can see that doing it.
well, I mean that's why I said like I think for me it would just be the GameCube library or even the
Mhm.
DS library to an extent. Because I've
Bringing
seen
the DS and 3DS library to the Switch also would be something that would be like really cool if they were able to do that. Like, what if you can turn it sideways and have the screen long ways, like portrait or
Seen some
like
concepts of that, yeah.
yeah.
and you could connect the controllers on the sides of it like that and
Because of the
play
magnets.
because it's magnetic
And
and like you could play your DS games like that and they've got a whole they start like porting the library over or whatever. That would be sick.
I think we
Or we can
figured it
go
out.
the Nintendo Revolution thought process where it also has ports for your game. So you like it if like they've got enough room on that console to add like a Switch port and a DS port.
Dude,
That
I
would be
think
awesome.
that would be awesome though, because let's say the Switch 2 is more versatile, right? And like it can do things like that because of how they designed the controllers. And that's kind of the gimmick, right? It's like you can attach the controllers in multiple ways without it having like all these sockets all over it. Like, and
Hmm.
they said, hey, every generation of Nintendo will be on this console now. And it's because you can play it all these different ways. That would be a brilliant
If
gimmick.
it
And
opens
then
up, their commercial says, "We heard you." You know,
it's just, hey, all every generation of Nintendo is on here. I mean, I think kids would go nuts over that. I know adults would go nuts over it. And they can sell it on the fact that it's because it's more versatile, but then they can also sell it on the fact that hey, it's more powerful. So it's also going to get these exclusive Zeldas and stuff. I think that would be brilliant. You know, I mean, I
Mhm.
think it goes right back to the 3DS example you just made is, yeah, if it does something like that, it's still gimmicky, it's still Nintendo, but it also is like giving people what they want from like the game preservation point of view, right? Like that's a scary thing right now for me is like the fact that we can only stream PS3 games sucks. Like it's like we need to be able to have accessibility to every game you want to play without it taking 7 years for it to get some update that then becomes inferior and takes another 7 years to get updates so you can play it on your favorite console. You know, I think Nintendo, that'd be pretty brilliant of them if they were just like, yeah, all the Nintendo games are going to be available on this thing, all of them.
There's going to be no. There
Mhm.
be there would
Or at
be
least,
there would be one huge asterisk on the end of that. It would be all of
Oh,
them except Pokemon
Nintendo
games.
Online is, oh
yeah.
God, I was
I
thinking
mean,
Nintendo
if
Online.
the market, if it was marketed towards like at least were like they said like by the end of this console's life cycle, it will be able to house all of the Nintendo's library.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Not
I feel
right
like that's
away.
like, yeah, just not from start. It'll come out like gradually or whatever, however they do it. But I mean, yeah, because there's so many old consoles that are just not accessible anymore. And being
Well,
able
it would
to
sell.
have something that can,
Sorry,
no, you go ahead.
I was thinking it would sell their online membership. Like if you said, "Hey, I get Nintendo Nintendo's version of Game Pass for every Nintendo game ever made, and I pay $100 a year or whatever they're gonna absurd price they may charge." Like I'd be like, "Cool deal. Just
Hmm.
make a dedicated effort." It's kind of like the Pokemon Bank app. You know, I don't know if you've ever messed with that, but
Yeah.
that kind of made it to where it's like, okay, no Pokemon left behind. If they kind of make this dedicated effort, starting with Switch 2, that hey, we got um, whatever they want to call it, whether it's Nintendo Switch Online or just like the virtual console, right? That is just now going forward. This is how we're going to preserve ourselves across all generations. Is this continued virtual console service, and they're going to like you design the hardware to be able to have where you can play any type of game despite how it was designed at the time. I think that'd be huge for me, and I want to see that from every console maker. But I think Nintendo has the most legacy to capitalize on, while then also just doing the basic spec bump up to where you can play Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, at a higher frame rate with faster loads. And I think they're
Hmm.
probably going to prioritize faster load times to super superior graphics. I think that's something they'll throw an SSD in there. I think they have to at this point, and just be like, yeah, instant load times, and everyone's going to act like it's the first time it's ever been done in video games if you don't play Series X or whatever. But anyway, digress. I know we're getting close on time, guys. Probably a good time to wrap up. Or any closing thoughts?
I think we got it figured out.
Yeah, I like the I like the impromptu idea of if it turns sideways and you can play games like that. That would
Dude,
be sick.
it's
I
gonna
want
do that.
That's what I
You've
want.
convinced me now. You've convinced me. Because I can imagine the commercial and
And
everything. Just like
that's the
switch,
gimmick.
switch,
It's
turn it,
nothing too much different. Yeah, boom. Yeah, you can put it on however you want, whatever direction
dude.
you
And
want to
there's
play
all
it.
kinds of absolute crap that you can do. Like you can put the controllers anywhere. You can put it on the sides and play
Uh,
tug of war. Just
dude, the
something.
Switch, whatever the Switch game is, that's like the Wii Sports
Hey,
of it, will utilize moving the controller around it or something.
Dude, you
that's gonna
can like cook on it. You can, yeah,
that's the name.
it's not being stupid.
Instead of like Switch 2, because that's like probably like my biggest like cynicism of just what they're going to name it. So it's like going to have some kind of version of new Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch Advance, but it's going to be something more simple. That it just they can't fall into the same trap that they did with the Wii U because nobody. I think that was like the biggest point of the Wii U was like nobody knew that it was necessarily the next console because they didn't put a number on it, and they're going to make that mistake again and just call it like the Switch Up or something. The Switch Up.
Yes,
Mm.
they will.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to that whole branding crisis. You know, what's the difference? So the thing is, when you just put a number on the end of it, in my experience, consumers don't get all confused about. So what's the difference between the PS4 and the PS5? They're just like, oh, it's just the newest one.
Nintendo never really does a number on the end of it, though. I mean, there was the
No, they
3DS,
don't.
the 2DS. Like they did do that, but they also had relevance to why they were called that.
Yeah,
But
but they make it so hard for people just because of the name to
yeah,
understand. Yeah,
it's not. That's why I'm not convinced it's going to be like if like the Wii carried over the Wii and the Wii U. They share a name. I think it'll be something similar to that, where however it's named. If this is still in the Switch family, it'll be called the Switch something. Switch
Try-
Up is good.
all
I
the
just
alarm
when you say
clock.
that, I think of the little like controller dongle I used to have that gave me mods on Pokemon. Was
Yeah.
you could connect an Xbox or a PlayStation controller to the Switch with the Switch Up. But
You call it the Switch or the Swatch? I don't they call it the Swatch. I don't even know what that means.
watch.
The Switch Swatch. I think that could work.
Told Flippy said new WarioWare would go crazy with the controller changing thing. Like just imagine the Mario
Goodness.
parties and stuff, like those mini
Oh,
games.
it'd be like a
Those would be
Bop It. It'd
so
be like
wild,
the
bro.
final evolution of a Bop It, dude. It'd be like
There's gonna be it's this console needs to be prepared to be dropped. Like in
dude,
mid game, trying to reconnect the fucking controller to
every
it.
peripheral. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Strap steering wheel
Yeah.
to it. Put it on a
Oh.
steering wheel. Yeah.
Hmm.
Could attach it
Sweet.
to like a AK-47. Yeah. 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 Anyway, nope. I think that sounds great. Sold. All right, guys. Hey, have a good rest of y'all's day, okay?
Yep.
Y'all too.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. It was fun. And yeah, follow us, like, subscribe, all those things, comment if you're watching this on YouTube.